Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope you are doing well and enjoying your summer. And sorry I wasn't on last week. I needed a little bit of a break. Hope you guys had a good 4th of July. I think in my neighborhood, the fireworks were going off all night. I think I heard one at 5 a.m. So we were definitely celebrating, right? The 4th of July, and hopefully everybody was singing their Star Spangled Banner and everything. It's a great thing to sing, right? Let's put some music in there. So now that we are past the 4th of July, it's time to start thinking about the fall. And hasn't this been just a wild, crazy summer? Well, it's time to kind of start to focus again. And I'm telling this to myself as well. It's time to focus. And I'm about to put out registration and everything for the fall. Although it's been out for a little while, but we're adding some stuff to the registration. So if you are interested, please reach out. So we're doing things a little bit different this year. So if you are coming in as a new student, and some of our older students, we are going to have it be by audition. So wild and crazy summer, wild and crazy economy. So less teachers, less opportunities. So we need to find out from you if you are committed. If you're committed to learning with our expert teachers, the teachers who have gone through a lot of schooling, who have lots of experience working with all different levels, we want students who are wanting to work, who are willing to go the extra mile for their themselves. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about we're going to do auditions. So it's not a crazy audition, but when you are applying for the school, when you're registering, to send in a small recording of you playing or singing, playing your instruments so that we can get an idea of how you're playing and then also see if we're a good fit. But I also want to talk to you today about the type of student that's going to do well at the Raleigh School of Music. Not everybody's going, this is not going to be a fit for everyone. It's just not. And as the school matures and as we go through more and more refining of what we do, what we offer, we are going to really be focusing in on more and more and more. What type of student is doing well here? What type of teacher does well here? What type of family member does well here? So let me go through a little bit of a list. So now we know the logistical things. We want students who are dedicated to their instrument, who have been interested in music lessons and playing an instrument for a long time, not students who are just trying to dabble and just, it seems like a fun thing to do, but students who know that they love music and that they know that they want to be involved. They know they want to be involved in an ensemble eventually. They know they want to be in a musical eventually. They know they want to be in an opera or a chorus eventually, or they're already in one and they want to refine their skills. They want to get a better chair if they're in the orchestra, or they want to get solo work. If they just want to sound better, if they just want to be able to read the notes, to read the language, if they want to be able to thrive in an ensemble setting, those would be the people that are perfect for our school. We are, again, not the best fit for students who just don't know if they like it or not. We are going to be for students who know they love it. Because as I've said many, many times, it is not a linear fashion in how we learn music, right? There are going to be times where we are distracted, where we have other things going on, where we can't focus as much, where we maybe feel frustrated. And so their emotions are up and down and all around. I just got finished reading a book actually called Emotional Agility, which is a really good book, guys. Probably one of the best books I've read in a while. And the woman who wrote it said that she was telling a story about a son and a dad who were doing like I guess a golf tournament for sons and dads, and but the dads were competing against the other dads and the sons were competing against the sons, and so one of the dads looks over at his son and his son is emotional and crying and just not. Okay, so he goes to him and he's like, um, acknowledges that he's feeling, sad and all of that. He's like, "Can you feel this way while you finish the game?" And he did. The son did it. He through his stuff, through his feelings, he was able to finish the game. So he didn't let those feelings, because gosh, music mirrors life. It just mirrors life. The ups and downs, right? Sitting with what's uncomfortable, what's not easy, what's frustrating and failure and all of that. Being able to sit through all of that and still be able to keep going. It's just this beautiful life lesson. So we are looking for students who are really interested in music and are not going to be derailed by their emotions, or having parents have family members who understand that there is that it will happen, that those emotions will be up and down, but to be able to sit with them through that and to still believe in them. That's the kind of family member and student we're looking for. So another characteristic is this student is humble, which means that they can take in feedback. Now they throw away, we talked about this before, they throw away the stuff that it doesn't work for them, but they take to heart the things that do mean something to them, and that they're willing to listen to someone else's opinion, and to that it's not the end all be all for someone's feedback, that they know everything. But I think the culmination of feedback and the different experiences, and then how you feel about your own play, it all kind of comes together, right? And that's what helps us become better musicians. So being able to be humble, being able to take in that stuff is very, very important for students that are coming to this school. It will be very hard to thrive if they cannot keep that humility, because our teachers, we're here to make you better. We're here to help you find out what kind of musician you can be. And so that means that we are going to be honest with you. We're going to try to be kind, but we're going to be honest with you. And that's just really, really important to us as a school. Um, Parents. So not only are we looking for specific students at the school, but we're also looking for specific parents at the school. Parents, we want you just as excited about your students learning music as your student. And that means sometimes when your student isn't feeling as excited anymore, because again, the novelty is going to wear off. There's going to be failure and frustration and too busy and all of that. You have got to have that belief still in your student, right? And keeping that momentum, helping them keep that momentum as much as possible. Nobody's perfect, but we find that students whose parents are really, who just believe in them, who are there, who are open, who are willing to sit with those uncomfortable feelings, they're the ones who really thrive. They really thrive here. Um, Students, we also believe that students who like the process and not focus so much on the performance, although we talk about performance, but performance for us is part of the process. It is not the performance in itself. It is part of the process. It is the culminating thing for the process. It's kind of the marker for the process. But whenever we get out there and perform, it's never the final product. So it's always about process. So not getting stuck in the rewards. And we have a reward system and we have all that stuff, but that's all to help the process, because this is such a beautiful life message as well, that we learn through living, we learn through doing, and we don't learn through just getting up and having the certificate or having the trophy or having the that's, I mean, I've talked about it 20,000 times that Ed Sheeran is one of my favorite pop singers, and he says the way you learn is through failure. And so it's just failure is part of the process. Yeah. So so liking the process is really, really important. Um, so also finding students who find the small wins and stuff. So not expecting huge breakthroughs, although that very well might happen. We hope that that will happen, but the small things about music, right? That this is not about being perfect. This is, I just and you don't have to agree with me on this, but I just see music as a vehicle of how we can learn about life, and it's not the other way around. So like that it just mirrors life. It just mirrors life. And so we as students and musicians, we learn about ourselves when we go through this process, when we go through the process of being of learning how to be a musician. So, and then whatever happens at the end, if you wind up getting something, if you wind up doing something amazing, then that's awesome. But we want students who like the process, that is the focus. Um, in finding the small wins. So another thing, and this is tricky, especially in this time when we like to do a lot of things, but we students do really well at our school when they have balance. So having time for play outside, having time to rest, having time to, obviously want students to be able to do their homework and do all the things they need to do so in order for them to be able to do well at school, but having balance. That also means having time with their parents, having family time. We don't want to take away from any of that. So this, we would just add to it. So being able to find that balance, and gosh, life is always about finding that balance, right? It's never going to be perfect, but um, we want to be a part of that balance. That we don't want it to be an either or situation. We want to find out how we can fit into you. Yeah. So next one is here's a tough one. This is more for parents, but are you ready to make the investment? It takes investment to be a musician. It just does. It just is a unfortunate. I don't know if unfortunate is the word because it isn't unfortunate. It's just a part of being a musician that you have to put in, not only financially, but you got to put in time. And it's not just the student that's doing this, it's the parents, you're doing it even more. So you have to figure out your why you're doing this. And I don't think, but focused on just like getting into the ensemble or getting, whatever certificate, trophy, whatever it is. That I don't think that's going to be enough for you parents. I don't think it's going to be enough for anybody, really. I think you're going to have to figure out your why. Again, this book that I was just talking about, The Emotional Agility, she says that whenever we make decisions, it should be from our values, not from emotions, not from all that stuff. And I think it's really cool. You have to figure out, what are your values in this life? What do you value? For me, one of my biggest values, and you'll see it all over the school, is commitment. I value that a lot. And now, commitment doesn't mean doing something that's not good for you over and over again. It's also being committed to yourself and figuring out what it is that you need for you. But I wonder if a lot of us allow ourselves to really see what we're committed to. It's just interesting. But yes, so having the values and knowing that it's going to take an investment to be in music. It just is. Like if your student decides they want to do this as a profession and they're a singer, they're going to have to pay for a accompanist. They're going to have to pay for, college. We want our students going to college for music. If they're going to do music, I know that that's not everybody's in agreement with that, and by all means, that is awesome. But at the school, we focus on students who are very interested in doing this as a career, which I'm not going to tell you no, go for it. It's going to be hard. It's hard for me. It's hard. It is not easy. It is not the easy way. But if you feel like you can't do anything else, or you have to make it a part of other things that you do, then you're gonna have to invest. You're gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have to, figure out where you're gonna to get the money and then be willing to go there because I would like to see in music there being more of a system of checks and balances. Like I would love to see that there are more teachers out there who do require that their teachers are that have degrees, that they have that training. I think it's important that, as someone who used to struggle a lot with reading, music reading, and they need to be able to do that. Even if they're doing popular styles, they should know how to read music. So yeah, that was my soapbox. Okay, I get on these tangents. That's my ADHD. So another thing about students that they will do very, very well at this school are students that believe in themselves. So how as parents, how as people do we know if they believe in themselves? Are they trying new things? Are they being creative? Are they are they telling you how they feel about stuff? Or are they people pleasing? Because people pleasers, and I struggle with that, don't always believe in themselves. And so those are things, and if that is something that you notice that your student is struggling with, which a lot of us struggle with it, let that be a reason to do music lessons then. If they don't believe in themselves, let them do this. Let them try this. Give it that good school year to see how it goes. And who knows? You might come away with a very, very confident kid, someone who is willing to tell you how they really feel about stuff. You might find out things about them that you've never known before. You might find, you might discover a whole new person you just don't even know. Um, so that's why we are starting this audition thing, which I'm going to start putting out on the website a little bit, but I think it's really good for us, A, to see where your student is at so I can figure out who might be a good fit. But then also, just, I think, again, like I said, it shows to us the commitment that, and kind of, where you're at, So exciting times, exciting things coming out of not such a great time. It's interesting to me because this hasn't been the easiest time for music lessons, and I've talked about this, but it's like helping me figure out more and more what's going to be right here, what's going to be the right fit. And another big thing besides the commitment part of this for your student and for our teachers and for our community is that it's not about the lessons, it's not about the music itself. It's about the connection and the community. It's about belonging. And this year has been a very tough year for me. I did not connect very much to people, and I've missed that a lot. And I told you guys that one of the things I love about this, of running this program, it's working with my teachers, and I've been doing a lot of work on myself, and so I haven't really been able to focus on them as much as I want to. And I've made it a point to meet with them more regularly now and to have that connection because I think as musicians, it's just so hard to connect with people and we just really, and it's an art and it's necessary. We just really need that. And I see when teachers are struggling or when they're leaving or when a lot of students leave, it's when that connection isn't there, that connection is gone. And it's just such a huge part of this. And there's something awesome about a student being able to go in, work one-on-one, get that undivided attention from someone who is you're working together for a common goal, and that common goal is your student and helping them get to whatever goal they have or they want. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's during these crazy times where the internet rules everything and where everybody is having parasocial relationships with everybody else. So we're not actually like connecting with anybody. And like these people that we have friendships with, they wouldn't even know, they wouldn't be able to take our, dog outside to go to the bathroom. Like in all of those times, like I think this is the stuff that society needs, that connection time, that one-on-one time, that time where you're working on a common goal together and you're really getting to know someone and getting to know their ups and downs and like the full spectrum of a person, not just like the people pleasery part, right? Because in those lessons, there is going to be frustration. It's just a matter of when. It's just a matter the longer a student is there, the more it's going to come out. So if you are thinking about lessons this year, I encourage you to talk it over, have a family meeting, talk about investment, what you're willing to invest financially, also time-wise, because it's not just the lesson. Everybody who comes in here who goes to a tour, I always say this, that the lesson, we give you tools, we give you the books and the everything and the knowledge, but the growth happens at home. The growth happens when you're practicing. So yes, we can provide the connection and the community and all of that, but the commitment is going to be at home. And parents, you also have to be willing to do that as well, because for young students who really have no idea what it takes to be a musician and that it takes time and you're going to have to help with the commitment part. It's not supposed to be forever, but initially it's got to be. But anyway, so students committing to the school year of lessons, September through May. 2 recitals, coming to some convocations. Convocations again are going to be every other week. Signing up for those. So not just coming in for the lesson, but all of the things. Putting it in your schedule right at the beginning of the semester, right when you sign up, having that ready to go so that it's in your calendar. There's no excuses. Like obviously things might come up but it's in there. So then you can schedule a little bit around it because this is important enough that it be a priority, at least somewhat up there, because this is going to help them. This is going to help your child or you as an adult. It's going to help you thrive in life, learn life skills. Music learning mirrors life. All right. So again, registrations are out for the fall. Hello at raleigh-school-of-music.com if you are interested in that. And then also, if your child is not a beginner, to send in it could be on your phone, just a song, a song of them playing their instruments or of them singing to give us an idea. Now, it is not make or break us. We're just getting information from it, an audition. So, but if you are a beginner, you do not have to send anything in yet. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.